Know what a man said to me once? That he would sell his soul to make love to me. He was a priest. Imagine, a priest. I must have driven him crazy.
In this video, we will be exploring the nakshatra of Pushya, the ultimate nakshatra of knowledge of the self, and how it arrives at a practical knowledge of the self through putting an individual in various situations where he or she is forced to confront himself to the truth of who he is. This nakshatra relates to the ability to see oneself clearly and without biases, and to point out any evils that exist in one in order to make oneself truly saintly. Pushya is arguably the nakshatra most associated with the archetype of the devil. And this may sound confusing as it is the ultimate nakshatra of the priests, but the connection here is that the devil is related to all the evils that exist within us, that upon ridding ourselves of them, we become saintly.
I thought you were going to make me happy.
I never promised you that. That's up to you. I just gave you 7 wishes for one measly little soul.
It's God's idea. You see, his theory, and I'm not knocking it, is that in order for people to be really good, they have to make a free choice between good and evil, and choose good.
These various explorations of the devil call to mind the various stories within all religions that essentially teach us that the scariest thing about the devil is not that he causes calamities like poverty or war. Instead, the most frightening thing about the devil is that he is a reflection of our own evil.
Now that we are all here, let us recount the deeds of the day.
Of course. Deeds, yeah.
I've tempted a priest. As he walked down the street, he saw all the pretty girls in the sun. I put doubt into his mind. He would have been a saint. Now within a decade, we shall have him.
And so he reveals to us our own evils. The devil is a mirror upon which we perceive our own shadowy and demonic form. The devil is hated for representing every aspect of our own selves that we are powerless against, and we then proceed to scapegoat him for our own sins. The devil is a mirror, a reflective glass that displays our vices, our weaknesses, our foolishness. He is also a magnifying glass that exaggerates them.
No use running away, Alvin. You will die like the others.
The others?
Yes, I killed them all. I killed them in a state of mortal sin. They will be damned victims of depravity.
In the cult Italian movie, The Devil's Nightmare, the Italian Pushya's son Erica Blanc plays a seductive demon or succubus, an instrument of the devil, and her mission is to orchestrate situations to cause the guests of a mansion to commit sin. And she can only kill them if they give in to their evil desires.
Wow, what a banquet. Just for us two?
Won't you sit down?
One large man suffers from gluttony, and so the Pushya native Erica Blanc prepares a banquet for him. Only after he gives himself completely to his sin does she kill him.
Would you care for a last glass of wine? It's always the best.
Another female guest suffers from greed, so much so that she is willing to steal the gold that belongs to the owner of the mansion. So the Pushya demon leads her to a room full of gold, and only after the woman gives herself over to her sin of greed is she then killed. Another couple of guests are guilty of the sins of adultery and lust, as a male guest cheats on his wife with a very promiscuous female guest. Of course, the Pushya devil is right behind them. Though she is successful in corrupting most of the other guests, there is only one man she cannot seem to corrupt, and that is a priest. She attempts various tricks, like appearing to him half naked, inspiring thoughts of seduction in him, but he is most resistant. No matter how much she takes off her clothes and tries to pull him into lustful acts, he remains steadfast, and for this reason, he is the only guest that does not die.
Kevin, hang on. How about Cullen? How's it going? Everything on beam?
That's a long conversation.
Well, want to come up and tell me?
Now? Let's talk tomorrow.
You sure?
It's so hot in here. Whew. Would you help me with my buttons? I seem to be off thumbs this morning. I find clothes so constricted.
Your fingers in the drawers.
Am I interrupting?
Not at all. Fred, I'd like you to meet your new secretary, Miss Sharon Stone.
My secretary?
Personal secretary, Mr. Flintstone. That is, of course, if you want me. There. I'm all done with the requisition forms. What do you think?
It's perfect. Looks just like the real one. Mr. Flintstone, you are about to embezzle a great deal of money.
What we find in all these movies and works of fiction is how Pushya Nakshatra tests the soul, how this nakshatra consciously orchestrates situations to coax out the hidden vices within a person and expose the individual to his own evil, that he either be destroyed by them or finally decide to perfect himself. In these films, we find Pushya finding one way or the other of pulling out vices in people, either by playing the devil who grants people's wishes in exchange for their souls, or actively trying to provoke them to sin.
Paragraph 1 states that I, the devil, a not-for-profit corporation with offices in Purgatory Hell in Los Angeles, will give you 7 wishes to use as you see fit.
Nice car.
Sure is.
Make a deal with me, kid. You can have the car and everything that goes along with it.
There is just one little formality. I would like your signature here.
What does it mean here about my soul?
Why should that worry you? Soul is nothing. Can you see it, smell it, touch it? No.
The mark of a true saint is to dance with the devil without burning, because you possess no vices that he could use against you. You have no hidden desires or tendencies that have been perverted into demonic forms by way of repression.
Wasn't fucking there!
Oh, look at you, torn apart by guilt. You didn't do anything wrong. You're an honest cop. You didn't take money. You had to testify against them even after they threatened your family. And where was God? He could have stopped it, but he didn't. He fucked you. And then he made you feel guilty. Me, I don't do guilt. I didn't do what happened here. He did. Now you just think about that. And you tell me who's really your friend. I can make it like it never happened. All for the price of a stranger's address.
No!
It is interesting that Brihaspati is called the son of fire because he is the son of the sage Angiras. Pushya Nakshatra is like an exposing fire, a fire that lights the darkness of one's consciousness and exposes what is hidden. The mundane man would burn if he were to walk on coal. The ordinary woman would catch fire if her sins were to be exposed in the lights. But the mark of a true saint is to cross a lake of fire without burning. Only a saint can stand before the light of God without fear, because he or she who possesses no impurities can never catch fire, because impurities are what makes one flammable. He or she without a shadow is not afraid of the lights, and it can never be harmed by it, because only darkness fears lights. Saints don't burn, but in order to arrive at this level, you must personally confront yourself to your own dark and evil aspects objectively, so that when you pass through the path of coal, you don't catch fire. Though there are multiple adaptations of the story of Faust that feature Pushya natives, I will focus on the 1926 version, which stars the Pushya sun and Pushya moon, Emil Jannings, in the role of the devil. Once again, we find Pushya Nakshatra orchestrating situations to coax out the evil that exists within a man and to use it against him for the purpose of judgments. In this movie, the old man whose soul is being tested is even transformed into a younger version of himself, and he is promised by the devil that he will remain in this state if he decides to finally sell his soul. One of the purposes of Pushya is correct judgment of a soul, as it is a nakshatra of discernment. Its first step is to study a soul, and its next step is to provide a proper punishment for it. But these punishments are not truly meant to do the individual harm. They are instead designed to enlighten an individual, help them understand the error of their ways, and then to correct them. It calls to mind the story of Brihaspati and his maid. In the Navagraha Puranas, there is a story of a maid that was full of lust, so much so that she attempted to seduce Lord Brihaspati even though he was a priest and was married. As a punishment for this act, Lord Brihaspati turned her into a monkey. When his wife Tara complained that this punishment was too cruel and too severe, Lord Brihaspati explained that this specific punishment served the purpose of helping this lustful maid to be free of her desires, because monkeys are very amorous and sensual. In turning her into a monkey and giving her completely to this vice, Brihaspati's goal is to both give her an outlet for these desires and also to teach her the true merits of lust. One of Brihaspati's names is Harayi, which means remover of sins. Another one of his names is Chitta Shuddhi Karaya, which means purifier of the mind. Another one of his names is Daitya Hantre, which means slayer of demons. All these names reveal him as actively attempting to destroy the evil that exists within a person's consciousness.
You have no right.
I have every right. I was put on this earth to combat sin, and I shall use every available means to do so.
The movie Seven is yet another one with a Pushya antagonist playing the devil who studies people's sins and destroys them on the basis of them. Pushya's son, Kevin Spacey, plays this devil, and he targets individuals he sees as guilty of the 7 sins, much like as we have seen in the previous examples.
This was found behind the same refrigerator, written in Greece. There are 7 deadly sins, Captain. Gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, pride, lust, and envy.
So consistently is Pushya connected with the devil that at some point in my research, I sorted through movies that had the word devil in the title and found quite consistently the nakshatra of Pushya somehow related to it. I shall now list only some of these examples. Late Night with the Devil, starring Pushya Sun native David Dashmalakian.
Conversations with the Devil. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
The Devils, starring Pushya native Oliver Reed and written by the Pushya native Aldous Huxley. Flesh and the Devil, starring Pushya Ascendant native John Gilberts. The Devil and Daniel Webster, written by Pushya's son, Stephen Vincent Bennett.
What's the matter, Mr. Stone? You look worried.
You promised me happiness, love, friendship.
Just a minute. I promised you money and all that money could buy. I don't recall any other obligations.
Devil at 4 O'Clock, directed by the likely Pushya Moon native Mervyn Leroy. The Devil's Daughter, written by Pushya's son native Colin Higgins and also starring Pushya's son native Belinda Montgomery. Eye of the Devil, directed by Pushya's son native J. Lee Thompson. The Devil's Advocate, starring Pushya Ascendant Al Pacino.
Vanity is definitely my favorite sin.
The Devil by the Tail, starring Pushya Ascendant native Yves Montand. The Beauty of the Devil, starring Pushya native Nicole Besnard. Lucifer, created by the possibly Pushya Moon Neil Gaiman and also starring Pushya native D.B. Woodside.
You are a mockery of everything divine.
The Devil's Nightmare, starring Pushya natives Erica Blanc and Ivana Novak.
They give the name of succubus to demons that adopt feminine appearance in order to seduce man and lead him to perdition.
It's not at all necessary to be a succubus. Everyone knows women do that quite naturally.
The Devil in a Blue Dress, the book upon which the movie was based, was written by the likely Pushya Moon native Walter Mosley. The Devil's Backbone, starring Pushya's son native Eduardo Noriega. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, starring Pushya native Philip Seymour Hoffman. The Devil's Hand, starring Pushya native Jennifer Carpenter. And these are only some of the titles.
Just your average, horny little devil.
There we are. Now, you see that man over there?
Yes.
And you see this pigeon?
Yes.
Well, this is a classic double tempt situation. With a bit of luck, I can get 2 sins for the price of 1. Spite from the perpetrating pigeon and anger from the victim. It's terrific. All systems, go! Release your doodles!
It is also interesting to note that Pushya Nakshatra is quite common in the charts of horror movie directors and those who star in horror movies in general. And this is interesting because there's a common trope within many horror movies of punishing the sinner and sparing the saints, which is what Pushya energy likes to do. Purva Bhadrapada is another nakshatra that has been linked to themes of Satanism and the devil. So we will now explore the differences between how Purva Bhadrapada relates to these themes versus Pushya. Pushya is the actual devil tempting you in order to expose you and your true character. But Purva Bhadrapada is the ambitious individual trying to sell his soul in order to gain something. Aquarius, the sign to which most of Purva Bhadrapada belongs, is connected to the 11th house, considered by Vedic astrologers to be the most evil house. It is a house both of scarcity and desire, because it is related to the making of wishes.
Yeah, and I'd like to be powerful, because I'd like to give her lots of things.
Rich, influential, millionaire.
Multi.
Multi, good thinking. Multimillionaire, yachts, servants, country estates, a phone in the lav.
Yeah, but I don't want her to be like she was last time, you know, timid. I want her to be physical.
I'll make her very physical indeed for you, Stanley. Stiffen yourself. The magic words, Jackie Kennedy! Oh well, Julie Andrews.
A wish can be defined as an extreme desire to have something, but lacking the personal power to achieve it. For this reason, one makes an appeal to a greater force to offer one that which one would never be able to achieve alone. The 11th house relates to all of the things one is willing to do to achieve something, and so it is associated with gilded cages, because one then becomes enslaved to the powerful people that have granted one's wishes in exchange for some sort of ownership of the individual themselves. The gains of the 11th house are easy because they are not based truly on effort and discipline on the part of the individual. They are instead based on favors that come from powerful entities. So one's success can easily be taken away from one at a whim because one's achievements are not truly one's own. And so this is the reason why the 11th house, Aquarius, and specifically Purva Bhadrapada, is related to the selling of one's soul to the devil, because one desires to gain something that one does not believe one would be able to get any other way.
What? Are you kidding? I have to give you my soul?
After you've had your wishes, of course.
But it's my soul! I can't give you my soul!
Purva Bhadrapada is the wish maker, and Pushya is the wish granter. Purva Bhadrapada is the Satanist, and Pushya is the devil. Purva Bhadrapada is the one who sells his soul, and Pushya is the one that orchestrates situations that provoke a person to give into their darkness to then sell their soul. Purva Bhadrapada is the soul that is being tested, and Pushya is the accuser. Pushya is the one who delivers his final judgment in the courts of heaven. Now, the specific sin that Pushya natives themselves tend to be guilty of is vanity. Vanity being the sin of Pushya is very ironic when we consider that the specific sin that caused the fall of the devil from heaven was also vanity. The book of Ezekiel chapter 28:12 describes Lucifer thusly: "You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty." And the same chapter goes on to say in verse 17, "Your heart became proud on account of your beauty." So of course, as we can see, vanity is the specific sin of the devil. So it is comical that even in vanity, we find connection between the nakshatra of Pushya and the devil. In this section, I will explore the connection of Pushya Nakshatra to vanity through its connection with the very vain, evil queen in the story of Snow White. What we will find is that throughout its multiple adaptations, the evil queen has been played by Pushya women.
Beautiful. Who's the fairest of them all now?
Pushya Moon Monica Bellucci in the movie The Brothers Grimm.
Tell me, I am the fairest of them all, Jacob, and I will make your dreams come true.
Pushya Ascendant's Julia Roberts in the movie Mirror Mirror.
I am, after all, merely a reflection of you. Well, not an exact reflection. I have no wrinkles. They're not wrinkles, just crinkles.
Pushya's son Diana Rigg in the 1987 adaptation of Snow White.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of us all?
All of these Pushya women taking on the role of the very vain evil queen inspired me to research the original evil queen from the 1937 Disney version. According to many sources, the original evil queen was inspired by Pushya women, but also inspired by women of the other trine Saturn nakshatras. So for example, various sources say that the facial features of the evil queen were inspired by 3 women: Greta Garbo, Joan Crawford, and Marlene Dietrich. Joan Crawford herself was an Uttara Bhadrapada sun, and of course Marlene Dietrich was a Pushya moon. There are even sources that say that many of the evil queen's dramatic gestures were inspired by the Uttara Bhadrapada sun native Gloria Swanson. Her wardrobe was inspired by the Anuradha sun native Helen Douglas in her role in the movie She. It is also interesting that this same role was reprised by Pushya Ascendant and Uttara Bhadrapada sun native Ursula Andress in the 1965 version of She. So we see that all of the Saturn nakshatras each played a role in the creation of the evil queen. But given that it is Pushya women who most often have portrayed this role, it could be argued that it is Pushya that is the most related to this very vain archetype. And as we proceed, we will find that Pushya women often play roles of very vain and appearance-obsessed women in general, even outside of the evil queen trope.
What do I see? That's the question I'm most afraid of. that asks me what I'm really made of.
Mirror, now that Snow White's life is done, am I not the fairest one?
What do I see? Much more than a reflection.
Mira, talk to me. Why haven't you found Wendell yet?
He is with others, but I cannot see them.
Who?
I see me. I see me.
Cody, come on. We have to get ready for the next fabulous episode of the web show that's sweeping the nation. Yay me! Starring London Tipton!
I see me, and I like what I see.
Who is the fairest of them all? You are the fairest of them all.
Oh, you're just saying that.
We see you,
You mean me?
idol goddess, shameless hussy, diva, princess, blue.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
You are. You are the fairest of them all.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all? Mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
You are the fairest of them all.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
You are the fairest of them all.
I am young, voluptuous. After all, I'm young, beautiful, and voluptuous. How do I look? Well, I like the top. Not you. Talking to the mirror.
2 words. Gorgeous.
Did your mirror just talk? Yep, it's something that Daddy's scientists came up with. Now, not only can I see how good I look, I can hear about it too. Yay, mirror! 4,998.
Come on, Marcia, open up. I've got to shave.
4,999.
Gosh, Marcia, there are other people in this family besides you.
5,000. Come on, Marcia. Doug Simpson's sure to notice me today.
And much like the devil, in many of these films, we find that Pushya natives are obliterated by their own vanity.
So you think that she's more beautiful than me? We'll see. We'll see.
There is something about you that's just so incredibly irritating. I don't know what it is. The slump shoulders, the hair, that voice. I know what it is. I think it is the hair. I hate your hair.
Magnificent. Beautiful.
There was a girl there. She had black hair and was very beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yes, I'd say she was the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Ever is a very long time.
It's impossible that she could ever be as lovely as me.
I'm sorry, just don't know what you mean. I mean, your smile is too big, your heart is too big, and quite frankly, your breasts are too big. So what are you saying? I'm saying I want you to take your big knockers and hit the road. Well, I guess there's only room for one queen bee around here. That's right. And I'm afraid I'm it.
For years I have always been the fairest. That's why the king has picked me for his queen.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most powerful of them all?
Here?
Did you not hear the question?
I did, Your Majesty. I just don't want to end up shattered on the floor, if I can help it.
Just tell me who it is. But it's always you.
Who would have thought that she would be a beauty? Who would have foreseen? It turns me green.
I don't understand. Brighton said he fed her to the beast. Brighton fell victim to her beauty just like all the others. I need your magic. There is a price to using magic. What is this price you're always going on about? Do you have to be so cryptic? I just want her dead. So short-sighted. It would warm my ancient heart if you could accept this modest gift to the fairest of them all.
Age before beauty. It's important to know when you've been beaten. Yes.
So you think that she's more beautiful than me? We'll see. We'll see. How can this possibly be? That it's she. That it's not me.
Wicked Witch, the seven dwarfs, saved Snow White, and then what happened?
Oh, what's it to you?
They left you the unfairest of them all. And now here you are, hustling Poole to get your next meal. How does that feel?
Pretty unfair.
Don't think you can go unpunished forever. Somewhere there's a power that won't let such wickedness and cruelty go on. Your hair will whiten. Your eyes will lose their brightness. Your cheeks will wrinkle. Your limbs will wither. While I defy the years and laugh at time. I call upon the flame most powerful, most swift, preserver of life and youth and beauty. Your limbs will wither.
There's the way I do my hair, and the way I do my makeup with such care. With the gowns I pick, and my fur so thick. Is this a trick?
Where did you get that dress? This is a one-of-a-kind Todd Oldham. Do you know how much this dress cost? Is this a knockoff? This is a knockoff, isn't it? Some cheesy knockoff. This is exactly what happens when you sign these free trade agreements.
You're the next Supreme.
How do you know I'm the next Supreme?
Because I am the old one. And I'm dying. My time is up. And you're killing me. My life force is literally pouring out of my body and into yours.
Of course, one of the most classical associations of the moon is as a mirror, as the moon is a reflection of the sun's light. But whereas the moon reflects the sun's light, it is Saturn that reflects the sun's darkness. This establishes both the moon and Saturn as both relating to mirrors. Then of course we have Brihaspati or Jupiter, which relates to the knowledge of the self, considered to be the greatest of all disciplines and the beginning of wisdom. Jupiter, being related to knowledge of the self, is interested in teaching the individual about his or herself and the truth of his or herself, and so it is also a planet that encourages self-reflection. Literally, one of the names of Brihaspati is Atma Jnanin, literally the knower of the self. He is the one who teaches self-study. Self-knowledge throughout all of time has been regarded as the highest form of knowledge, and so it makes sense that this nakshatra, not only being the exaltation of Jupiter, but also ruled by Brihaspati, would be deeply interested in constantly reflecting upon its own image. To quote Pythagoras, the highest form of knowledge is self-knowledge. To quote Aristotle, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. To quote Socrates, know yourself. To quote Plato, know your soul. The maxim, know thyself, has been called by far the most significant of the three maxims, both in ancient and modern times. As we can observe, Pushya relates to this philosophy of self-study at various levels, and in the most terrestrial level, it results in deep vanity, a constant looking at oneself in the mirror. Pushya Nakshatra, when it exists in the chart, operates almost like a sort of magnifying glass that either exaggerates our imperfections or exaggerates the perception of our imperfections to such a size that they become hard to ignore.
I don't understand. This can't be happening. I was just at the salon. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Your hair,
There's something wrong with my hair? Oh my god.
Sandra was right. It worked like a charm.
Every blemish, every rash, every hair out of place is given greater visibility, which then positions the individual to carefully tend to these various flaws intelligently. So, much the same way that Pushya reveals to us our own sins and exaggerates them, it does the same for all of our defects, both inner and outer, both on a soul level and also at an aesthetic level. This nakshatra is the nakshatra of true beauty because it focuses on perfecting the soul, and the soul, once perfected, eventually begins to perfect the body. To perceive without attachment one's own sins, to explore without judgment one's own darkness, to accept one's own evil without identifying oneself with one's own evil, to confront one's own reflection in the mirror, this is the path of perfection. And after having confronted one's own reflection, one then begins a process of washing, scrubbing, exfoliating, plucking, tweezing, combing, preening, cutting, grooming, in order to finally rid oneself of one's own evils and be perfected. It is the basic mandate of confessing one's own sins and picking up one's cross. On the subject of how the internal reflects the external, we of course can touch on the discipline of physiognomy, or face reading. In face reading, we are taught that the nature of the soul is reflected externally in the body, but we are also taught that the transformations that a soul goes through over the course of one's life reflect themselves more slowly. So deviations from beauty externally are seen as a reflection of one's interior consciousness. In physiognomy, features that are soft and plump and smooth are suggestive of one who allows oneself to indulge, to be sensual, to be material. But features that are sharp and hard are indicative of a strict and disciplined personality. Naturally, the balance of indulgence and restraint would create a harmonious facial balance between softness and sharpness. Big lips are believed to indicate a voracious and materialistic nature. A long nose is said to indicate patience. A round forehead is considered a sign of strategic thinking. Small ears are related to a conservative nature. One's features are believed to be indicative of one's internal state. So when one is externally balanced in one's features, it is believed to represent internal balance. In fact, Pushya not only brings to the surface one's own defects so that one perceives them oneself, it also makes one's defects obvious to everyone around one. And in making one's flaws obvious to all, the collective then participates in commenting, criticizing, ridiculing, chastising, discipline, mocking, and punishing the Pushya native, which can help the Pushya native to perfect his or herself more and more. Actually, to have Pushya placements can suggest that it is very difficult for the individual to get away with murder. It can be difficult to lie consistently, cheat consistently, or even kill in a serial fashion without being discovered and getting caught. Because one way or the other, this nakshatra will conspire against the native to make his or her sins obvious to everyone. In the Mula video, I demonstrated the extreme beauty procedures performed by mostly the men of that nakshatra. But for the women of Pushya, we see much of the same. Pushya Moon native Alessandra Ambrosio does candle cutting or veloterapia, which is the use of an open flame to sear split ends. Pushya Moon Eva Mendes does monothreading, which involves various needles to create the effect of a facelift. Pushya Sun native Sandra Bullock applies hemorrhoid cream on her eye bags. Pushya Sun native Jennifer Lopez is another celebrity known for various extreme beauty treatments, but one famous rumor is that she would sleep in a tub full of La Mer creams. The classic Hollywood star Marlene Dietrich was another famous woman known for her fixation on beauty and various extreme procedures, but one that is often quoted is her giving herself the illusion of a facelift by tightly braiding sections of her hair to lift up her face. Comically, having Pushya natives as siblings can also be quite difficult because the nature of this nakshatra is to so perfect itself that it exposes quite naturally the defects in others around it.
All I did was walk in the room and pick up my book. Well, if that's all, why did his eyes nearly pop out of his head? I can't help it if his eyes popped. You were trying to steal my boyfriend and you know it. I just came in for my book. Well, then why did he drool over you and pay no attention to me? Jan, if boys don't find you attractive, don't blame it on me.
It is because Pushya is so saintly that it exaggerates the perception of evil of everything else. This nakshatra within a family can easily create a family dynamic where one child is seen as the ideal while the other is made to appear more corrupt than they actually might be, simply because this nakshatra has an exaggerating quality to it. The effect of Pushya is almost like placing a white paper against a white wall. Something may appear white until something even whiter is placed against it. Then suddenly you see spots and stains where you never noticed any before. A Pushya native operates almost like a white sheet of paper, exaggerating the perception of even the tiniest defects in everything around it. When Pushya natives portray villains, they often serve as some sort of mirror reflection of the protagonist's shadow, aspects of themselves that they are either ignorant of or suppress and deny themselves. This is again why they are often attracted to stories or roles related to playing the devil, a figure that is the ultimate reflection of every man and every woman's shadow. The sign of Cancer does not represent the soul itself, but it does represent the heart, and the heart is the seat of the soul. The soul is not something that can be perceived directly, but it is felt and intuited. If you could perceive your own soul and perceive how it is perverted by every lie you tell and every moment of pride or instance of jealousy, you would witness how ugly it becomes over time through every act. So this is how this nakshatra forces a sort of perfection within an individual, because it serves as a mirror for us to perceive not just our own body, but indeed our soul, and to choose to perform the necessary grooming methods to refine it.
Mirror, mirror, on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Not you. Not you. Not you. I am.
The child?
I am.
It's impossible.
I'm the best of them.
It is interesting that in the astrologer Claire Nocti's research, she found that Aslesha Nakshatra was associated with the manipulation of one's own reflection through glamour, showing us again how the zodiac sign of Cancer is related to mirrors and one's own reflection. The Saturnian Pushya desires to perceive its own shadow, but the Mercurial Aslesha wants to manipulate its own image. Pushya Nakshatra relates to all things that are reflective and that provoke reflection, which is also why they are so fixated on beauty, whether it is their own beauty or the beauty of the external, as the ultimate thing that invites reflection and contemplation in our world is of course beauty. So they love self-grooming and self-beautification and of course fashion. And since that which is created is a reflection of its creator, if mirrors create beauty, then beauty is also a mirror. Pushya energy, as we have been discussing throughout this essay, carefully studies an individual, observing him or her in various contexts and even orchestrating situations in order to test how they would behave, like in our opening section where we discussed the devils. All this in order to deliver its final and correct judgments regarding who a person is. Pushya is a discerning and discriminating nakshatra that takes its time to study things and to study people, being slow to come to conclusions and perceives without bias. But it is interesting to observe the reactions of those who are studied by Pushya. The truths that are revealed about themselves are so ugly that they prefer to run away from them.
Made me feel like a hooker.
You are a whore, darling.
No, I'm not.
We all are. We take the cash, we cash the check, we show them what they want to see.
Maybe you are a whore, Crystal, but I'm not.
You and me, we're exactly alike.
I'll never be like you.
But I see a great deal of myself in you. I couldn't do what you did to Nigel, Miranda. I couldn't do something like that. You already did. To Emily. That's not what No, that was different. I didn't have a choice. Oh, no, you chose. You chose to get ahead.
Oh, my God, you are making accusations as we're trying to save your soul. Mary, turn away from Satan. Jesus, he loves you.
You don't know first thing about love.
I am filled with Christ's love. God, you are just jealous of my success in the Lord.
This is not a weapon.
Just, you're just kind of high maintenance. Okay, let's go to lunch.
That is completely untrue. You think I'm high maintenance? Okay, prove it. I want you to write out a list and we're gonna go through it point by point.
No, you're right. You're easygoing.
If I don't have an answer, you want me to make one up?
Yeah, that would be nice. Make one up right now about how there's no feelings in there, no how.
I said I have feelings.
Oh, now you haven't. Now you don't. Get it together, Jared.
But why are you hassling me, huh? Why are you trying to make me mad?
Are you mad?
No!
Oh, cut the shit. You're mad. You're mad as hell.
Yeah, Rachel, she'll do whatever you want. You can just walk all over her.
What? Wait a minute. What are you saying, that I'm a pushover? I'm not a pushover.
Oh, okay. You're not a pushover.
Because you are beautiful and you're intelligent, but no. You don't have what it takes. I'm sorry, but you're not a visionary. You're a bender.
You don't know that. You don't know the first thing about me. You never cared to.
Oh, I think I do, and I also think, deep down, you know I'm right.
Oh, my, you think I'm a pushover? Well, watch this. You know what? You're not invited to lunch. What do you think of that? I think that's pretty strong is what I think. Come on, Monica, let's go to lunch.
You start working on that list.
I cannot believe her.
I know. Where do you want to go eat?
Oh, I love that Japanese place.
Ugh, I'm sick of Japanese. We're not going there.
All right, well, wherever you want to go is cool. All right.
You know what, Malcolm? I feel like once you know someone is there for you and once you know they love you, you never actually think of them again.
That's not true.
It's until you're about to lose someone that you finally pay attention.
Phoebe, we would like to talk to you for a second. Okay.
So, maybe I am a little high maintenance. And maybe Rachel is a little bit of a pushover. But you know what we decided that you are?
Yes, we are very sorry to tell you this, but you, Phoebe, are flaky.
Ha!
That's true, I am flaky. So what, you're just okay with being flaky? Yeah, totally.
Well, then I'm okay with being high maintenance.
Yeah, and I am okay with being a pushover. That's great. Good for you guys.
I am not high maintenance. I am not a pushover.
You don't like me cooking? Oh, don't be such an old bitch. You're drunk. You don't know what you're talking. How can I possibly like the horse shit you fix us for supper? You're drunk. You won't be saying that. You're fond of me lobster, ain't you? drunk in a Virginia fence. I seen it. You're fond of me lobster.
I thought you didn't do Valium. Tell me how the safety net is working for you. Tell me that you don't take that blade and drag it across your skin and pray for the courage to press down. Tell me how your daddy helps you cope with that. Illuminate me. My father loves me. I bet. With every inch of his manhood.
So, would it kill you to try?
Yup, and I'm too young to die.
Okay, so you don't care about classes or graduating, but you like school because you're popular and you'll never be on top again.
That's thoroughly predictable.
Your act only works on an audience.
You're just jealous, Lisa. Because I got better. Because I was released. Because I have a chance. And a life. They didn't release you because you're better, Daisy. They just gave up. You changed the scenery, but not the fucking situation, and the warden makes house calls. And everybody knows that he fucks you. What they don't know is that you like it. You like it. Shut the fuck up!
The movie Malcolm and Marie, starring the Pushya son and Moon John David Washington, and also directed and written by the likely Pushya Moon native Sam Levinson, shows us a relationship between two people that begins to turn self-destructive as they each take their turn in exposing one another's truths and delivering their final judgments.
Malcolm, you can encourage me to have a life of my own, but that's bullshit. You don't actually want me to have a life that is separate from yours because you are too fucking needy.
I thought we were done fighting.
Don't be sensitive, this isn't a fight.
Yeah, right.
It's not, it's an observation.
Oh, you don't want to go there.
Why is that?
Trust me, you don't.
Why is that? You don't have the balls. You don't have the gravitas. The fucking introspection to look at yourself and your flaws and your shortcomings and the fact that you may not be the next Spike Lee or Barry Jenkins because those motherfuckers had something new to say. Something true to themselves and their fucking experience.
You know what I just realized, Marie? It's about you being so scared and so selfish that you have to break me down. Second guess everything I do. You just need a reason to be needed. Because if I don't need you, then what the hell am I doing with you, Marie?
Are you trying to ruin me? I'm a hard worker. I am. I work as hard as any man.
You lie, Thomas.
Stop it!
You lied to yourself, but you ain't have the sauce to see it.
Please.
Whereas the beauty of Ketu Nakshatra natives is most inclined to being objectified, it is the beauty of Pushya natives that tends to be projected upon and either deified on account of it or instead hated and demonized. The seemingly perfected Pushya woman is put on a pedestal and worshipped, but is not loved because love is based on truth. Pushya energy, when it is more refined, can come across as so perfect that it can sometimes even be turned into an idol by those around it. Lolita is a story about a man that projects all of his fantasies onto the figure of a young girl, essentially falling in love with a reflection of his own unfulfilled desires mirrored by her young beauty. In both the 1962 and the 1997 version, we find the influence of Pushya Nakshatra, as Stanley Kubrick, Pushya's son, directed the 1962 version, and Jeremy Irons, Pushya Ascendant, starred as the perverts in the 1997 version. The degenerate male character doesn't see Lolita for who she is, or better yet, he refuses to see her for who she is, and instead fixes upon her his own projections. He deifies her, turning her into something more than human, turning her into his goddess. And anytime through sheer individuality, she tries to break away from his fantasy of who she is, he punishes her.
You don't love me.
I do love you.
You don't love me.
I do love you, Lolita.
Driving me crazy. You won't let me do anything. You just want to keep me locked up with you in this filthy house.
This is clearly not a story of love, but indeed a story of projection, a story of a man falling in love with his own reflection. We also see this element of projection from father figures upon their daughters, especially in the context of not wanting their daughters to be projected upon by any other man, as if they wish to selfishly make her a reflection of their own fantasies, of their own ideals, and is revolted by the idea of someone else stealing his idol from him.
I'm engaged. I'm engaged. I'm getting married. So, Dad, stop it. Say something.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Dad, I met a man in Rome, and he's wonderful and brilliant, and we're getting married.
Oh, Richard, there you are. Come join us.
Hey, Dad.
Grandpa, hi, this is Dean. Dean, this is my grandpa.
Hi. Sorry, hi.
Hello.
It's nice to meet.
Does everyone have drinks?
The actress Ava Gardner has Pushya ascendants, and she has very often played women who were so idolized in her movies that men would bend over backwards to please her. In the movie The Flying Dutchman, there is a character who so deifies Ava Gardner that he was even willing to kill himself if she refused to marry him, as though rejection from her were akin to rejection from a goddess.
Will you marry me?
No, Reggie.
I thought not.
Anyway, so I went out of your whispering.
Passed out again.
There is another character that treats Ava Gardner so much like a goddess that he sacrifices his own car for her.
I love you, Pandora. I lie awake at night wondering what I can do to make you believe how much I love you.
What would you do for me, Stephen? What perfectly incredible thing would you do for me?
I would do anything.
How long have you been building this car, Stephen?
2 years? Why?
Is there anything in the world more precious to you than this car?
One thing.
If I were to ask you, Stephen, would you push your car off this cliff into the sea?
Yes?
Do it, Stephen.
In the movie Barefoot Contessa, we find multiple men vying for the attention of Ava Gardner, each one wanting her selfishly for himself that she may become fully the embodiment of his own personal fantasy. One man even has her image sculpted, almost as though she were a Greek goddess.
I make you lovely, a dream. Everything a woman should be.
In another Italian cult movie called The Red-Headed Corpse, we find the Pushya Sun native Erica Blanc playing a goddess-like figure. She starts off as a doll that an artist fixes and paints, and then this same artist fully projects upon her his vision, his fantasy, and then the doll becomes real. He then proceeds to deify this living doll, and then he becomes enslaved to her. She becomes the embodiment of his own wishes, so much so that he becomes a soulless servant to her, doing whatever it is that she wants, giving her whatever she wants. But she also is a reflection of his insecurities and his own weaknesses as a man, because he knows deep down that he's not good enough for this sort of woman.
Do you feel like killing me? Do it then. Come on, big man.
Stop it!
You won't, will you? You won't because he can't do without me. You won't because you're just like all the others. A pig. A disgusting pig. You don't have the guts, mister. So stop playing my lord and master Otherwise, I'll leave you. Clear? Maybe I'll forgive you then. We'll see.
This Pushya woman begins to also reflect his insecurities by seducing other men. In the end of the movie, the man kills the Pushya woman as he shifts from seeing her as a goddess to now seeing her as a devil.
Think about it. Think. My body for your soul. Yes. My body, all yours for a night. Just for your soul. Why not? My body yours for one long night. For one long, voluptuous night, my body would belong to you. You alone. It would be all yours to enjoy.
She was a goddess when she reflected his fantasies. She was a devil when she reflected his fears and weaknesses. This nakshatra is often idolized and pedestalized, not seen for who they really are because they are projected upon. Since Pushya natives have personalities that are more subdued and more quiet, it is easy to project anything upon them because one's projections experience less interference from their personality. This would be different if someone were very extroverted or had a very distinct personality. In such a case, full projection would be made more difficult because one's projections would experience more interference.
Bravo. Is it for your golf trophies? Or for books that I haven't seen?
No. It's for you.
But, babe, I have a few more shoes than are gonna fit on this shelf. We need a couple more shelves.
It's not for your stuff.
Okay.
It's for you.
We can of course see one of the most fundamental reasons why it is said that this nakshatra is bad for marriage. And this is because the individual is not seen for who they truly are, but are instead projected upon. Those who are infatuated with a Pushya native are in truth infatuated with their own image reflected back to them, their own dreams reflected back to them. In the 2000s version of the movie Bedazzled, we find that the likely Pushya Moon actress Frances O'Connor is so idolized by the main character that the devil in this movie even makes use of her image in order to provoke the protagonist into selling his soul, as he projects onto this image of the Pushya woman all of his fantasies.
What have we here?
Who is Allison? How did you... She is so beautiful.
Ooh, I love your hair like that. You must go through conditioner like crazy.
Is this real?
It could be. All you have to do is sign.
So we are finding that even in the context of romance, Pushya is the wish granter, because Pushya represents all the things that one wishes to experience. But again, the Pushya native herself is not seen for who she truly is. It is just that her beauty becomes a mirror for the fantasies and insecurities of the people around her. The Devils 1971 is yet another story of idolatry and pedestalization that then turns to a demonizing of that same idol. But it also carries other themes of Pushya we have been exploring throughout this essay. It stars the Pushya moon Oliver Reed as the accused devil, and the movie was also heavily inspired by the work of Pushya sun native Aldous Huxley. In this movie, all of the women in this town idolize the very handsome Pushya man, and they project upon him all of their dreams and wishes. For example, they daydream of him literally walking on water. They use their hair to clean the wet feet of this Pushya man, once again deifying him. And this is especially the case for the nuns in this movie, that pretend to be pious but are actually extremely lustful. We find that this Pushya man, by nature of his existence, exposes the hidden evils that exist within these nuns. The movie features many nuns that pretend to be pious and pretend to be saintly, but in reality, they conceal their deeply lustful desires. And in fact, these desires are so rejected within them that they literally begin to pervert their outer form. Just as we discussed earlier how when we hide our evils instead of confronting them, they end up destroying us from the inside. The beauty of this Pushya male devil serves as a device to expose the lust that hides within the hearts of these nuns, and also the jealousy and anger that results from being rejected by this Pushya man. They see the Pushya man as an angel when he merely reflects their fantasies, but he becomes a devil when he merely exposes their hidden perversions and degeneracies. This one nun, for instance, is totally perverted on the inside, that it even begins to reflect externally through her hunchback. And what is so comical is that literally the more that she comes close to this Pushya male, the more that she dreams of this Pushya male, the more that the energy of this Pushya male exposes her deeply concealed perversions. So much so that her perversions become obvious to everyone, and she's even beginning to be destroyed by them. The beauty of this Pushya devil is the device that destroys her. It is interesting to find that Pushya is a nakshatra very common in the worship of the goddess, as even many of our modern books on the subject have been written by likely Pushya natives. The renowned writer David R. Kinsley likely has Pushya moon, and he has written books on the worship of Hindu goddesses that are still used as references to this day. We have the very famous tantric visions of the divine feminine, where he goes into great lengths into the 10 Mahavidyas, their origin stories, and modes of worship. We have an earlier book of his called Hindu Goddesses. We even have a book of his called The Goddess's Mirror, Vision of the Divine from East and West. The Anuradha moon native Donna Marie Wolfe was co-author of the book Devi, Goddesses of India. To add an example of someone with Ketu in Pushya, we have the author Hilary Rodriguez, who has written multiple books on religions, but has also written ritual worship of the great goddess. Stepping outside of Hinduism, we have the figure of Gleb Botkin, who has Pushya's son, who in 1938 founded his own goddess-worshipping monotheistic church, the Church of Aphrodite. I quote the Wikipedia article. Botkin held regular church services in front of his statue of Aphrodite, the ancient Greek goddess of love, and presided over them dressed in the regalia of an archbishop. The female symbol, a cross surmounted by a circle representing Aphrodite, was embroidered on his headdress. He later published a book at his own expense, arguing that Aphrodite was the supreme deity and creation had been much like a woman giving birth to the universe. This symbol also was engraved on his gravestone at his death. We have Marija Gimbutas, likely Pushya moon, who has written multiple books on the great goddess, like The Language of the Goddess, The Living Goddess, The Civilization of the Goddess, etc. We have Robert Graves, Pushya's son, who wrote the book The White Goddess, and to quote an article on him, Graves concluded in the second and expanded edition that the male-dominant monotheistic god of Judaism and its successors were the cause of the white goddess's downfall, and thus the source of much of the modern world's woe. Aleister Crowley himself was a Pushya ascendant, and in Dilemma, it is the goddess that is held as the greatest divinity. Of course, this goddess is Nuit, the goddess of the night sky, symbolized as a naked woman arched over the earth. She represents the infinite universe, boundless space, and the ultimate source of all possibilities. Finally, we have the book called The Goddess Reawakening, which contains also many essays by the Pushya sun native Rianne Eisler. Pushya is a priestly nakshatra, but we often find that its natives gravitate more towards the goddess than they do male gods. And this is interesting because we know that Pushya has everything to do with exploring that which is rejected and cast in shadow in order to reconcile it to the lights. Our world lacks official temples of goddess worship, which is why we often find Pushya natives creating many unofficial temples, like in the fashion industry for instance, and also creating many unofficial goddesses. Though Pushya is a priestly nakshatra, it is actually too sensual, too indulgent, and too much of a lover of the senses to fully give itself over to becoming a priest in the traditional sense, which is another reason why they prefer goddess worship, as feminine deities tend to be much more pleasure-oriented. What is also very interesting is that according to the Vayu Puranas, the planet Venus was born in Pushya Nakshatra. Is she a goddess or is she the devil? Is she an angel or is she a demon? She is a goddess when she receives your positive projections, but she is the devil when she exposes you to evils. But the irony of this false dichotomy is that it is the very nature of gods, it is the very nature of the divine to expose evil through mere proximity. If one reads various mystical and religious texts, what we find is that to approach a god is actually dangerous, because even if the god himself does not intend to do one harm, by the sheer force of their perfection, they literally destroy you, because no mundane man with his impurities could ever approach a deity safely, because he would spontaneously combust. Consider how in Greek mythology, the Greek gods are said to cloak their divine light under various disguises to interact with mortals. Because if they didn't, the mortals themselves would be destroyed by their light. Consider the Greek myth of Semele and Zeus. Zeus was of course a god and Semele a mortal. One day Semele asked Zeus for a boon that he would reveal to her his true form, because before then he had been concealing the full light of his divinity. After some resistance on the part of Zeus, he acquiesced and revealed his full divine glory. But the sight of this perfection overwhelmed the human woman, and she died. Then in the Bible, we have the book of Exodus, where God tells Moses to not look at his face because, and I quote, "You cannot see my face, for no man shall see me and live." Then the book of Timothy states that God lives in unapproachable light, whom no one has ever seen or can see. Then finally, we have the book of Matthew that says, "Blessed are the pure of heart, for only they can see God." In order to approach a god or a goddess without catching fire or obliterating oneself, one must make oneself saintly. It is your own sainthood that will keep you from being eviscerated from mere proximity to perfection. We live in a world where male power and male divinities are held as the standard. Our current state represses the goddess. It represses female power. And so we find Pushya natives or Pushya priests craving to worship the goddess in order to correct this imbalance, as Pushya is a reconciling force. One area of unofficial goddess worship is of course the fashion industry. What we find is that Pushya Nakshatras love to celebrate and deify women. Though Pushya is one of the most common nakshatras in the fashion industry overall, both in design, journalism, and modeling, I would like to focus on haute couture designers. The reason for this is precisely because these sort of designs are not practical and are not made for everyday use. But if you study closely, much of haute couture is simply the deification of the feminine, a way of worshiping the goddess through everyday women. Starting with the iconic Pushya Moon couturier Christian Dior, I will introduce him with one of his famous quotes. "After women, flowers are the most divine creations." Then we have Yves Saint Laurent, who was another Pushya Sun couturier who also deified women through his designs and presentation. Elsa Schiaparelli was of course another legendary Pushya Moon couturier who would often take inspiration from mysticism and mythology and was famous for designing wearable arts where she would elevate women into something greater than human. Of course, when we speak of the deification of women through fashion, we cannot end this list without making reference to the Pushya Moon Thierry Mugler himself. Naturally, we have the various models who have Saturn Nakshatra placements, but among the most prominent with Pushya are of course Gisele Bündchen, Iman, Stephanie Seymour, Sara Sampaio, Monica Bellucci, Miranda Kerr, Alessandra Ambrosio, Twiggy, Paulina Poroskova, and Lauren Hutton. Naturally, we end with the movie Malena, yet another very powerful example of projection, as the Pushya Moon Monica Bellucci almost never speaks, forcing everyone in town to fully project their own imaginations onto the mirror of her beauty, believing that who they love and who they hate is her, when in reality the people in town love and hate their own fantasies and their own insecurities. But instead of taking ownership for their own projections, they once again scapegoat the beauty of this quote-unquote devil, making her responsible for their own sins. Thank you very much for watching my video, and a very special thanks to my very exclusive client Elizabeth. I am very glad to be your personal astrologer. For more original astrological research, please join my Patreon to support my work.